going to a Spanish church has opened up more opportunities for me to grow in Spanish, and I want to share with you some of my story. My name is Franklin, and this is First1000hours.com. I'm here to inspire and motivate you to complete your first 1,000 hours of your language learning marathon. I don't teach languages, but I share an out-of-the-box mentality to help you learn languages on your own in a real-world context. So yesterday, I went to a Spanish-speaking church, and it's really convenient because this church is about 3 to 5 minutes driving distance away from my English-speaking church that I go to. And so in the afternoon, after I finished with my English-speaking church, I went to the Spanish church and I went to a service for the youth. And so I got there in time for song service, and so they sung some songs that I was not exactly familiar with, at least with the words, but I knew some of the tune because it was familiar hymns that they were singing. And then some of the songs I didn't know. But one of the songs in particular I did really resonate with, and it's my favorite Spanish song, Más allá del sol. And so I understand and know the tune, and I know a lot of the words to that song, or at least I'm familiar with some of the words, I should say. And so I started to sing that song out in a stronger way that I had done with the other songs. And then I heard myself singing it, and I got a little nervous. And when I got nervous, some sweat came down my face because I'm thinking, man, people could probably hear me singing. And I feel like when I go to the Spanish church and I'm going to service, I'm like a little fly on the wall. I am someone that sits in the back of the church and I listen to the service and all of that. But now I'm really singing out and in a strong way, I would say, in one sense. And so I was wondering, are people hearing what I'm singing and all of this? But I didn't let that nervousness stop me from being in the service or stop me from singing. And so I just wanted to share that. And I understood what people were saying in the service to varying levels. Now, at the end of the service, like they normally do, they had a mini sermon. And I understood about 90% of that mini sermon. So I was really happy about that. And then they don't always do this, but at the end, after the service was over, they actually served some food. Now, sometimes you can just get the food for free, but I guess they were raising money or something like that, and this food cost some money. They had different things on the menu, but one thing I liked was that they had also drinks for sale, and there was a drink called Raspados, and it could be with 3 different flavors, coconut, Jamaica, and fresa, I believe. And so it only cost $1.50, and I really just probably wanted to drink, so I just went ahead and got that drink for $1.50, and I got the fresa one, or strawberry one, and it basically, a raspado looks like an icy in one sense. They have the ice, and then you can flavor the ice however you want. So I had the strawberry flavor, and the drink tasted nice. I really liked that. And one reason I got the drink was really because I wanted to continue to mix and mingle with people. And even before I even tasted the drink, I believe, someone tapped me on the shoulder, and they were letting me know that there was going to be someone was going to be selling some food at her house. And so I could make an order, which I did, and I gave some money for that. It only cost like $5 for the food at this person's house. And I could pick up that order. I can pick up that order next Sunday. And so I was like, wow, that's cool. So now I am not just being able to go to church, but I'm going to be able to go to a church member's house. And so I have even more opportunities of mixing and mingling with people, Spanish-speaking people, in a real-world context. So I didn't want to pass up that opportunity, and so it'll be fun doing that. And one thing I was thinking about as I was purchasing this drink and then being able to sit down and talk to people at that church, I was thinking, okay, I could spend $1.50, or I could go to a Mexican restaurant and mix and mingle with native Spanish speakers and maybe spend like, I don't know, $13 or something like that, talk to the waiter or waitress, and then I could sit down and speak, and sit down and just basically mingle with myself. Or I just spend a little bit of money and I get to mix and mingle with church members. Now, obviously, I didn't have to spend anything, but I got to know a little bit more about a drink that I did not know about before. So that's something that I get to learn by experience. That's something I can't just read about, but I have to actually taste it, right? To have even a better knowledge of of that drink, so I got that experimental knowledge of that drink. And so I was really happy for my time at the Spanish church. I got there probably around like 6:40, and I left around 8:30. So I was almost 2 hours in an all Spanish environment. I heard Spanish about 95% of the time, so that was awesome. And this kind of reminds me of my language motivational partner, Connie Warner. And she was the person that really encouraged me to go to a Spanish church, not just one time, but to continually go to a Spanish church. And I've learned a lot from her example, because she went to a Portuguese church, and she's still been going there, and she's been there for at least like 2.5 years. And she mixed and mingled with church members in that church so much that she was able to be a bridesmaid in someone's wedding, because they asked her to be a bridesmaid. And I don't know if I've not heard of someone that has had a language learner that has had that type of dedication, to the point that they're not only interested in the language, but also the culture and the people, to the point where they're asked to be a bridesmaid or a groom or something like that in a wedding. But that's what Connie's example shares with me. And if you want to know more about how Connie was able to use a Portuguese church in as part of her language learning with Portuguese, then please go ahead and click this link. I'm going to link to a playlist where you can find out more about that. Halfway into the first part of Do I Have to Travel to Learn a Foreign Language, I share Connie's story, and then also in part 2. Both of them are very important, I think, for you to listen to if you haven't already. And also, I'm going to put up here on the screen a playlist that you can click on to find out more of my experiences in a Spanish church, and the mentality that I've had to have when I haven't understood everything. And I hope to see you in the next video.